So like they knew what they were doing. So I just had to trust them, and I'm glad I did because I think everything worked out like the way it should, and so I ended up doing well in the steeple, so I can't really complain.
Speaking of the steeple, which appears to be your main event now, at least outdoors, earlier you mentioned that you really didn't want to compete in the steeple. So how did that conversation go? Was it something that you and your coach discussed maybe during indoors, or was it more so of a, sometimes coaches they'll throw you an event just to see a performance or see what you can do, and maybe it was just one of those that turned out to go really well?
Yeah, that's how it was. I did a lot of conversations where I complain about it and say, I don't want to do this. I think it's stupid. But I also told them after, I'm putting it out there. This is how I feel about it. But I trust you guys, and it was that's that. That's what I'll do. It started as early as on my visit. When she came on a home visit, Coach Rita had mentioned by the time in the steeple what they think that I'd had some kind of infection, and we'd give it a shot, and I was like, oh man, not really digging that. It's a long distance, the miles, but they're long enough for me. But one of the things, one of their little mantras is trust the process. Mm-hmm. So that's what I try to do, and I'm glad that I know I was stubborn and a pain in the butt for them sometimes as much as I complained about it, but I think I was very patient with me and kept trying to convince me to do it and believed in me.
Now, regarding the 3K steeple, at conference you got 4th, then you eventually qualified for the East Prelims and you got 3rd, punching your ticket to the national championships in Eugene. A few minutes ago when you were telling me about the steeple, you said that going into the East Prelims, you weren't really expecting to make it to nationals. Just tell me about that whole experience of, going into the race and then realizing that you actually just punched your ticket to nationals.
I'm not gonna lie, it kind of hurt a lot. I've never felt that dead after a race before. My legs felt tired, but I finally felt we were talking about how to feel jello. I could feel myself, my legs almost give out over the last water barrier and over the last barrier coming down straight away. But it was awesome. I knew I gave it everything I had. But going into that, I remember I almost told Reed at the conference I'm done running. I'm not running regionals. I can't do this. I was gonna just kind of mentally give them up because I had a pretty disappointing season. And I remember going to the race, probably just leading up, I was feeling terrible. And I was planning on, just not totally drinking it, but I wasn't gonna put in any effort. But I had plenty of family and friends who came up from Fort Myers. And I was alright, that'd be kind of selfish that they, drove all the way out this way to see me and just, run kind of shitty. This is not what they came here. I know they're supposed to support me no matter what, but this is not what they came here to do. I want to make their time worthwhile. So every lap, I was trying to, as if maybe I'll start a peer, or I don't know. And every lap I get through and I'd be alright, one more lap. And I'd be after this lap you can drop out. And then I'd get through and be alright, now, one more. And after this, I can drop out. I can't come to it, the whole, a little over 7 laps of the race. And it wasn't till, I think, maybe a little over a lap to go that I realized, I might have a shot. I don't know how fast these girls can close, but it's worth, trying to strike and seeing, if they can come with me or not. And I ended up making that big move with 300 to go, and it paid off. But that's, I finished a lot of races, thinking even a good race or a PR or something, coming away thinking, I could have pushed a little bit more here, a little bit more here, and like obviously there's more I could have done, but that was the very first race that I knew like I couldn't have given anything else. Like I gave it my best, and I was really happy with it.
Well, considering that it was also where you ran your personal best of 9:52, and also, just hearing you talk about, what some of your thoughts were, during that race, and you had, these thoughts about, maybe dropping out and stuff like that. Just realizing when you actually had a shot to actually make it. During that race, and you had, these thoughts about, maybe dropping out and stuff like that. Just realizing when you actually had a shot to actually make it. You already know I've made this joke about you for years, but it seems like in every situation you somehow always manage to find another gear, and you apparently did, because you ended up punching your ticket, and you made it to nationals. So I want to talk just a little bit about NCAA. I want to talk a little bit about the race and then just your overall experience. So the race, you made it to NCAA's. You finished 12th in your heat, at least according to the official results. They were a little bit.
I finished dead last in the entire meet.
Yeah, I was looking at the results, and they were kind of wacky, because I saw one where you placed higher, like it wasn't separating the heats for whatever, and then I saw like the final results. But talk to me about that race. You're at the national championships as a freshman, and what happened during that race, and what were some of your thoughts?
I was super hyped after regionals, after making it. But like I said, leading up to regionals, I was just like not in a good headspace. So I got to nationals, and like I was kind of excited until like the 2 days before, and then it started hitting me, and I would get like really nervous. I was like, do I even want to do this? Like, no, I don't. It was just like, I don't know, I was kind of like overwhelmed, and instead of like turning that into like a good, energy source, I let it get the best of me. And I knew I wasn't feeling super great going into the race. Like physically, yeah, it was fantastic. But mentally, like I wasn't there, and I was thinking, all right, like if I run well and make it to finals, then I have another race in 2 days. And then I'm going to have another race in less than a week, because I knew I was planning on running USA's. And I'm not going to want to like run that hard for like 3 races in a row.
Right.
So I was trying to I was totally overthinking everything, which I know like I shouldn't have been doing. I should have just kind of like broken it down and taken it, one day at a time, one race at a time, like one lap at a time, that kind of stuff. So I feel really confident when I race out front sometimes. So that's why I went to the front at the beginning of the race, trying to give myself a confidence boost, and all right, just give it your best, and try, and then they made the move. Was it 800 meters, 1,000 meters in? It picked up the pace and went past me, and that's when I was like, all right, I just mentally gave up and decided not even to try going with them. So yeah, that was a not super great race on my part, but I wasn't really that upset about it, because I knew I had no reason to be upset, since I kind of put myself in that position. So the front at the beginning of the race, trying to give myself a confidence boost, and all right, just give it your best, and try, and then they made the move. Was it 800 meters, 1,000 meters in? It picked up the pace and went past me, and that's when I was like, all right, I just mentally gave up and decided not even to try going with them. So yeah, that was a not super great race on my part, but I wasn't really that upset about it, because I knew I had no reason to be upset, since I kind of put myself in that position. So
it's funny that you just mentioned about how at the beginning, basically from the start of the gun, you went straight to the front and started leading the race. And traditionally, I don't know if you've if you've maybe noticed this, but it seems like you really do that with all your races. I noticed that your race at obviously NCAA's, at the U.S. Junior Championships, but also even back last year at New Balance Nationals when you were running the mile, you always head straight to the front. And does that kind of help you get into the right, competition mindset, or why do you think that you do that?
I'm not a big front racer. I enjoy hanging back and letting everybody else, push the pace and then, hanging with them and then closing. That's what I enjoyed doing in high school.
Mm-hmm.
At New Balance, I wanted to run under 450 and I wanted to be in a fast race, and they put me in the slow heat of the mile.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna have to run this thing myself. So I tried to go from the gun. But yeah, typically I don't usually run from the front. But I know a lot of races, especially in college, is about getting in position. So that's what I've been trying to work on, is running under any kind of circumstance. Even up to the flat, too fast. I don't know. Sometimes you have to adapt and.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The race isn't always going to go your way, so I'm trying to branch out and run different strategies, whether it's taking it out hard and trying to hold on, or taking it slow and then really being able to hang close on towards the end. I don't know.
And coming back to NCAAs and wrapping up that part of the conversation, a lot of people, they make it to nationals, but then also a lot of people never make it. Earlier you said that you weren't planning on making it to nationals, basically ever, but let alone as a freshman. So how was your personal experiences at the national championships? You were there for cross country, now you're there for outdoor track, especially with it being at the historic Hayward Field the last time before these renovations that they're doing now came in. How was that experience for you personally?
So I was absolutely geeking out. I to be able to compete at the same meet, and even in the same race as some of these athletes that I've read about the last 3 years I've been running, and it's just they're legends in my mind. And just to see them or to align with them there, it was just oh my gosh, it was just, I don't know, it was surreal.
And after the NCAA championships, just a week later, you went on to run the 3K steeple at the U.S. Junior Championships, and you ended up winning there. Were you expecting to win there? Obviously, it's the top two who end up punching their ticket to compete at the World Junior Championships. But just from some of the stuff that you were telling me, where your mind was at that time, how your body was, in the weeks leading up. Were you expecting to perform the way that you did there?
No, I was not. I wasn't expecting to win. I was hoping to hang on. Well, going in, I was hoping to hang on for a second. In the middle of the race, I almost dropped out again. I was like, this is dumb. I don't want to run. But then, I also had my high school coach had come up from Ohio. And my dad and my grandpa had flown in, and so I was all right, I don't want to let these people down, I was I didn't drive all out this way to Indiana to run a poop race. That should be done. So I did the same thing. I tried to tell myself, okay, make it through one more lap, and I'm I started second guessing myself. Do you even want to run an oral? Nah, not really. And I don't know. So I'm glad I had people who I love and I know support me there, because that really helped. So I'm glad I did. When it came across the line, I was really glad that I was super elated and really glad that I didn't drop out or quit or anything like that. But it was kind of a slow race, but I appreciated that. My coaches told me not to lead until I knew that I could win, just because of what I did at nationals. I was all right. So it really helped that I think everyone else was kind of apprehensive, and didn't know what was going to happen. And some people are coming from high school and have never run the steeple before, so they didn't know how to run it. So that really worked out in my advantage. With it going out slow, and I knew I could close if I needed to.